we have to talk about these two players. Let's do this, Neptune. You ready?
Yeah, man.
Here we go. Another match here at the TLOC 1K. BBSM Army versus SU KrebsTheLegend.
Yeah, so for y'all that don't know, Army is one of ours. Like
One of ours.
We saw this guy as soon as he came into his first tournament. Comes through, nearly wins the whole thing.
Yeah, gets to winners finals, ends up taking out Aerolink in the process.
Incredible.
Third place finish. Really, really spectacular.
And as soon as we see that, you know, whenever it comes to sponsorships, me in particular, what I have an eye out for is young players that are coming in there trying to change the game, trying to be something innovative, right? And when I watch Army play, I think he's playing this game the right way. And for a young guy, it's pretty awesome to see this next generation of Smashers coming up.
Okay, just a real quick request. Can we turn off all of the Resident Sleeper music that's been... Because that's like 3 games in a row where it's just been like great battles, terrible music choice. Terrible music choice. Who made a fighting game and thought, you know what, this is optimal. This is what people want to like beat each other up to.
It doesn't work.
Nothing says hype like The Roost said no one in the history of anything.
Agreed.
Ever.
Like this is like the hype stuff that's happening. Everything that you can imagine, explosions going off, and then soft piano in the background.
Yeah, soft piano in the background.
It's not. It doesn't work.
It would work if like the soft piano cut in like randomly, and there was like onlookers watching it from like an elevator, and below it's like absolute chaos, and it cuts back to like the Hulk being slammed into like a skyscraper or something.
But this,
I love Avengers, but this is not it.
Not so much.
But talking about the actual match itself, both these characters opting for very zone heavy choices overall. A Villager, of course, has a plethora of options available. Got those slingshots that cover mid-range really nicely, as well as those gyroids, which do cover the length of the screen pretty much. Almost all of the screen can be really useful full screen, but they had a little bit of startup on them overall. And I think that you can already see Army packing on some nice percentage anytime that Krebs commits to the gyro. Right. So for Krebs, I think a big part of this is going to be staying just outside of the range where Army can throw the Pikmin at him, but he can still knock him with the slingshot.
Now, on the other hand, Army is using these Pikmin, pulling them out, and each color has its own really unique properties, unique traits to it. The purple ones having significant amount of knockback, red ones doing a bit of burn. But the thing that you need to keep in mind is that now that you have these Pikmin out, your optimal options are telegraphed. You know exactly what this person would opt for or what they would prefer. And sometimes you can often use that as another way to understand how to work around your the Olimar players.
That's true. That's true. And oh, that was a huge bowling ball by Krebs, taking that stock from Army. Really big. But this is, I think, a pretty good set right now. Some nice options available from Pikmin's standpoint for some dot damage. Unfortunately, throwing most of those away. Has that purple Pikmin for knockback, but it's a very low percentage, so I don't really see it coming into play.
No, yeah, exactly. Not quite yet. And whenever we creep into those higher percentages, things will get a little bit more interesting. But Army doing a good job of using the purple ones. We've seen him have these clutch moments where he really last minute pulls out that Pikmin and then clocks them. I mean, there's been some great funnel finishes with them in the past. But what you can really do with these Pikmin is, because they're their own individual entities, their own hitboxes, you can send them out and help cover options really well. And sometimes it's as simple as this, where you're shutting down people's approaches back to the stage.
Yeah, it seems like Krebs is eating a lot of damage, having a really tough time getting out of the corner. And that really hurts him a lot. That hurts him quite a bit. Army has a lot of fluidity, I think, from the mid and close game in comparison to Krebs, because he can, instead of throwing out the Pikmin, he can just go ahead and just swat him away with those aerials, for example.
Absolutely.
Or just cover a lot of range because of how far the F smash goes.
There's other ways that you can kind of negate Pikmin as well by putting out active hurt boxes that are rather low to the ground. So for instance, the perfect example is Marth. Marth loves using down tilts against Olimars, particularly because he can try to isolate and really put damage on these Pikmin early. Especially if you're seeing someone who's a bit happy on throwing them. That was a bit odd.
Yeah, all those bowling balls. Krebs deciding instead to go and send that last bowling ball towards the stage, expecting Army to recover there. Instead, pulls out a big turnip. This is anybody's game still, even though Army has a slight lead. Maneuvers around the bowling ball, gets the down smash. Blue Pikmin not going to be enough to take it out. If it was the purple, it may have had a better chance.
Chooses to not ride the side B, instead opts to land on there on his own accord, and that's going to be enough to take it with that down air. Army gets game 1.
You know, I like some of the ideas that we saw from Krebs. throwing out options to cover where the opponent would be instead of where they currently are.
Yep.
But the one problem that we kind of saw was at the end, especially with the percents that high, Krebs turned into a very hard read-oriented kind of play.
Yeah.
Granted, whenever he was that far behind, I could see some of the logic behind where you're like, I need some kind of a miracle to pull this out. But if you go back and actually look at the percents, it was a relatively close match, right?
Agreed.
30% difference, but with both players at triple digits, one good option from either side, I think, would have been enough to take the step.
Okay, so where are we going next is the question. Please turn off all the bad music.
Please, for the love of God.
Anything that's too slow, I don't want to hear it. Big shout-outs, though, to Smash United, all the Houstonites that we were talking about earlier. Let's see. Is there going to be a character swap? Because we know Army has a...
Oh, yes! This is what we were waiting for from Krebs.
This is what I
Busting
want to
out
see.
the Shulk.
This is really exciting for me. Now, when you think of both these characters, you think the Pikmin signifies what intent they might have next, right? But when you see characters like Shulk, they go through the multiple different stances, and they kind of opt for certain ones at certain times throughout the match. So maybe you'll see early on, they'll go opt for speed or jump or whatnot. But bear in mind that there's whatever style, whatever trait that they choose, they can no longer select it again until they've selected another one or a certain period of time has passed.
Here's the one thing that I think Krebs is going to be really having some struggles with is actually dealing with the Pikmin individually. As a player like Shulk, you have options that cover a lot of range, but the one issue where you really suffer is you don't really have quick aerials, right?
Correct.
Quick aerials that can kind of bounce some of those Pikmin off of you and get some of those Pikmin that are eating away at your soul to kind of subside, right? And because of that, it could be a possibility where Krebs is going to have something like a white Pikmin on him, going to try to use some kind of an aerial to get it off, but in that time, Army will be perfectly set up to go ahead and either throw another Pikmin or potentially even get a kill as this percent continues to climb in Army's favor.
And while that is true, there are times that you can see as soon as you climb to these triple digits, you will use shield and then reduce the knockback that comes with it, thus increasing the durability of your character. However, once you also sacrifice a fair amount of speed. So you need to be able to make sure you understand the balance, but also know how to play around it. Whenever you have a lack of mobility, you are more susceptible to the side Bs that are coming because you can't find ways around them. So sometimes you do pigeonhole yourself a little bit, but you have to choose between the two. Right now, you're looking for, in purple, actually swapping back to yellow again. The reason why purple was there was exactly what I was talking about, is as soon as you select one, you cannot go back to select it another time until you selected another stance, or a certain amount of time has passed. And that's why we saw the purple there, hoping to see a KO potential, especially as you creep towards those triple digits.
Ooh.
Nearly catching with the counter. The counter with this character is a bit jank. It doesn't necessarily work correctly. Sometimes you can find yourself outmaneuvering it.
And that's exactly what?
Whoa!
What? For a second there, I thought that Krebs was completely done, but that long range, once again from Shulk, clipping Army as he was trying to snag the ledge. Krebs off to an early lead, but that's answered right back by Army as he takes the stock with that one aerial.
This is what I want to see. Now, Buster is a great choice here, and it's a very offensive, potent one. Using the Nair, that's one of his quicker aerials that he has. Granted, it's not that fast overall in the scheme of the cast. However, it comes out... This is the fastest of its aerial, and it has an interesting arc that it really follows, an area that it covers. Now he's swapping over to speed here, I believe, and now he's doing his best to see if he can use this great ground speed to approach, potentially set up for some grabs. Ooh, there's the back air. Now he's doing a good job of pumping out shields really quickly to deal with the side Bs that are continuously thrown at him from Olimar, and he's trying to make sure that he can connect those counters. The pop-off!
Yo, Krebs really feeling himself there. Here's the deal. Olimar has a lot of great options for keeping you out, but being such a light body like Olimar is, the minute that someone is in with a massive hit, you know it's going to be a lot of damage. Krebs popping that counter, coming in so clutch. We're going to game 3.
This is what I wanted to see.
Honestly, I looked at that at first and I was like, this is going to be really rough for Krebs.
This
but
is a
it
great
wasn't
adjustment,
about the fact that he didn't get very many hits in. It was about the fact that he got in the few hits that mattered more than anything else.
Hits.
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So now he has great momentum. He's going into this next one. Let's see how it can build. Smashville, please don't be a bad song. Please don't be a bad song. Please don't be a bad song.
All we need is just not the... Oh, you got bodied. You got bodied.
Please restart.
Please restart. Ask them to...
Please, for the love of God. Oh,
Neptune legit took his
God.
headset off and just screamed at the players to turn off the roost. What are you doing? Is this a broken man?
I cannot
Please.
take this song.
Please! I can't do it. Please don't.
Thank you.
No, Terry, you can't.
Wait,
Don't do it.
turn it off. Turn it off. Oh my God.
You don't do that, man. Don't do
Okay,
that, man.
let's go.
Here we go. Game number 3.
So out the gate, speed is becoming the factor yet again. It's really good choice here. Considering that he gets in early and continues these string of throws, he now has positional advantage. Everything is really moving into his favor. This is such a strong start for him.
Exactly. It all goes back to the character types, right? Think about the narrative that we're trying to say here. With a character like Olimar, it's all about kind of playing that projectile-based game more than anything else, right?
Right.
And how do you negate that? By stuffing him close, coming right up to the face, and dealing as much damage as possible. That's why Krebs opted for speed immediately. He wants to close the distance, make it so that Army can't get started with that solid projectile presence that he has, and then go in and get some really big punishes. We're seeing those big punishes now. Army back into the corner, nearing those triple digits, as Krebs is looking so solid right now.
Now you're noticing the aerial is actually a really good choice because it comes from below and then works its way up. The cool thing is that when you do that, you now are getting a chance to hit not only the Pikmin, but as it rises up closer, you get a chance to stuff out Army. So it's a great aerial that he's using there.
I was about to touch on this. Army has been really opting to throw out those Pikmin, right? He's been consistently throwing those Pikmin. It's almost telegraphed at this point with that when the range is at a certain point, he's going to be throwing out the Pikmin. And what Krebs is doing is just popping in the counter, like he did right there, to go and connect with that. Nice spacing, though, by Army. Outspaces it and then connects with the F smash.
Exactly. What you're talking about it right now is the spacing.
Yeah.
If you do counter at that far of a distance, there is still a chance that it can whiff. There is a way for you to get in closer, though, and get it triggered, and then you'll be fine. Now, the jump not playing into his favor there. He's having a little difficulties, but it's okay. 9% difference, it's absolutely nothing. So, but then what's advantageous here is that he's consistently finished off with that counter. Even last game and into this game, he's done such a great job of building it up. And now with using Buster, he's going to build percentage a lot easier. The difference between Buster and Smash is that Buster builds up percentages a lot quicker and a lot easier, but aren't Smash attacks. So aerials and whatnot can create percentage a lot faster.
Yeah,
but then you can swap to Smashes to generally finish off the character.
Exactly. He sacrifices some knockback to go ahead and pop in some extra damage. That's what he wants to do in the early game more than anything else, right? Put on the damage. But right now, all of the damage output seems to be being done by Army. Once again, having Krebs at the ledge. Short range on the the purple Pikmin is not going to allow him to net that KO, but he has Krebs in the air. The counter comes in with the side step.
He's done.
Excellent play. So here is where the conditioning works out, right? First, you have Army setting up that solid presence with the projectiles, right? In particular with the side Bs on the Pikmin, right?
Correct.
Krebs picks up on this, starts throwing out the counters, gets a couple of kills with it, and now he's like, okay, this is my option, this is what I'm going to do. But Army makes the right tweaks and ends up taking 2 stocks because of it. That time, doing the side step right after he sees the counter coming, ends up getting the down smash, finishes that set.
And the way you want to make sure you're doing it, folks, if you're trying to buffer that, make sure you're holding shield and then holding C-stick down. And that's how the way you can get it at the first available frame. And the reason why he did that, having that knowledge, that's why he ran away on top.
Good.